popularity, but most of all, we're here to talk about some relevant things that are really in our consciousness each and every day that we're battling, trying to find out what this life is all about. And so today's message is beyond the veil of popularity, the spiritual awakening. I call it spirituality over popularity. Um, Today is going to be a good message. I advise you to get your popcorn. I advise you to get your little, your morning coffee. Sit down with me and let's explore some opportunities. Let's explore some awakening and some spirituality that's going to arouse these dry bones that's been eagerly wanting to know what this life is all about. All right, so tap the screen, share the live, tell a friend that we are on. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We have a lot to talk about this morning, and I promise you that as we dive into this stuff, you're going to see where we are and what we're doing and how we're doing it. Also, I just want to say that as you are in your everyday travels, please always be grateful that you are still here. There are so many people that did not make it over the threshold, and there's so many people that are going. Good morning, boss baby. Good morning. Tap the screen, share the live. Thank you for coming through. There's so many people that had not made it over the threshold, and I'm so thankful each and every day to be alive. If you can't hear me, just please let me know. Today, I want to talk to you about a fundamental choice we all face in our lives. It's a choice between two paths, the paths of spirituality and the path of popularity. There was a time in my life when I thought popularity was the most important thing in my life, and I was doing anything to chase that. I hear a buzz. Just trying to find out where that buzz is coming from. I'm sorry. If y'all hear a buzz, let me know, because I'm trying to get rid of it. But I don't know where that's coming from. I definitely hear it, though. All right. So anyway, it was a time in my life where I really didn't feel as though that I was looking for spirituality. I was just looking for people to be a part of my life, right? And that comes from childhood trauma. That comes from a time in my space in my life where I wanted to be accepted. And so the idea of being accepted is so widespread today that children use social media for the likes just to be accepted. And when they don't get enough likes, it creates a dysfunctioning value in their psyche, which causes them to believe that they're worthless. And this world is based on that type of popularity, to where when you don't have enough numbers or enough people rallying around what you're trying to do in life, it makes you feel a bit of your self-worth is worth less because you don't have the numbers that everybody else may have. And so what happens is in life, you base your life on how people feel about you unconsciously. A lot of people get on here and they say, I don't care about how people feel about me, but you do. You really do. You really care about that popularity status of being somebody. You don't understand that you already are somebody. And it's an awakening that doesn't take away from what you've learned in life, but it adds to the value of your life. The illusion of popularity, in the age of social media, popularity has become a currency that we trade in every day. We present a curated version of ourselves online. You know, we have this version of what people believe that we are. But like I said, in life, when I was coming up, you know, I was living 2 lives or 3 lives, maybe sometimes 4. Because when you saw me in public, I was on point. I was sharp. But you didn't know the pain that was lying underneath. It was something that we hide all the time. We put this mask on. They call it fake it till you make it. And you're not being real and authentic to yourself. So therefore, the people only see what they're perceiving as a well-built body, a well-built man or a woman coming into this lifetime and showing you this most, they got it all together. But in reality, they're just so broken. They don't have it all together. And in life right now, this is what we see on social media. We see people in their prime, in their valuable state of consciousness, and you see their faces and you see the clothes they're wearing and the money they perceive to have, and you see all of these things, but you don't see the brokenness. When they come home late at night, they're crying on the edge of the bed because they're alone mentally. Physically, they probably got a bunch of yes men and yes women around them telling them how great they are because they got so much money and they bring so much value physically. But spiritually, they're broken. They got so many holes in their foundation that the water, the spiritual water that nourishes them, keeps slipping through the cracks. And this is the illusion of popularity, because popularity makes you put on this face every day. We seek validation and likes from others, but as the ancient Greek philosopher Plato said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Are we living an authentic life, or are we just chasing the illusion of popularity? And if we were to truly answer those questions to ourselves, it would be yes, that's what we're chasing every day. Because we want to be somebody. Who doesn't want to be somebody? Who doesn't want to be front line and receive all the accolades for the things that they're doing in life? There's so many people that will unalive themselves or put themselves in harm's way just to be next to that star, that person that has the most popularity. And this is the type of world we live in, where we lose our spiritual self just to be for the fame. Sometimes you don't even get the fortune, but just to know the fact that somebody sees you. Just to know the fact that somebody sees you, you're feeling good about that. You know, people don't want to talk about this because it's so real. And I'm trying to tell you, in my life, that's what I felt for so long. Like I pushed so hard to be seen. But I didn't allow God to see me. I didn't allow the God body in me to be seen. I gave you what I thought you wanted to see, but I didn't give you the authentic me. And once I learned to break that cycle, once I learned to understand what my purpose was in life, I was able to get back up on my horse and do what God intended for me to do. That's why I'm speaking to you today. That's why I have motivational books out. That's why all my movies are empowering to the effect that they win awards, because I'm giving you my authentic self. I am showing you who I am face forward. I have no reason to hide or lie or give you some false sense of who I am when I know who I am. I know what God put me here and what my purpose is. They're the dark side of social media. We all seen it happen. Someone posts a comment or a photo that doesn't fit the mold, and suddenly they're ostracized, bullied, or canceled. This cancel culture will cancel you quickly if they feel as though you don't fit the mold of something. That type of popularity kills the spirit. And you wonder why, like in the UK, people can walk down the street and unalive each other, and you don't see protection, police, or anybody stepping up, because we have become so desensitized to the violence, to the crime, because it became so popular just to watch and pull out your phone and look and just show the images of what's wrong in life. No one wants to be bold anymore, to stand up with true spirituality and fight for what is right. Of course, they've learned how to beat that out of us as well, too. What they do is, once we get a strong leader involved and someone that can really stand up and do the right things, they want to ostracize them or unalive them or cancel them to make sure that they don't speak anymore. This is the type of world we live in, where everybody's scared and no one wants to stand up for what is righteous and what is spiritual in nature. And we wonder why we don't receive the blessings that we want. Everybody wants to be blessed. Everybody wants the bag. Everybody wants that fame and that next level. But you can't get to the next level if you keep whimpering at the level that you're on, that you're not willing to stand up and fight for something that is much more prevalent, which is our spirituality. I remember when I was young and in a group home, and back then I was just beginning to really understand spirituality, but I prayed a lot. And most of the things that I prayed for, God really answered in his own way. You know, I remember on my birthday, my 16th birthday, they call it Sweet 16. It was a bittersweet for me, but I enjoyed it. For the simple fact that I wasn't home with my parents. I didn't have a lot of friends. I had a lot of associates. But the few friends I had thought it not robbery to make sure that my birthday could get celebrated. And I remember that day like it was yesterday, because I was outside of a recreation center. And outside this recreation center, it was raining like it is today in Philadelphia. It's raining. And it was raining outside, and I was sitting there. I was tearing because I wasn't with my mother. I didn't know my father. I wasn't around my brother. I didn't have any family around me. But in that one instance, I had a few friends inside the recreation center. And it was my birthday. And they knew it was my birthday, and everybody else that knew it was my birthday couldn't call me or, say happy birthday. Even the foster home that I was living in at the time, they didn't even buy me a cake for my birthday. But the friends that I had at the recreation center, they found it not robbery. And I remember this like it was yesterday. They know I loved Twinkies at the time. So they went and bought a Twinkie. They knew it was my birthday, and they said, we didn't have time to go buy a cake, but they told me to come in, and I came in, and they surprised me with a bunch of Twinkies, and they put matches in it and lit it and said, happy birthday to me. To you, that might be irrelevant, right? Because you don't understand the depth of that. So let me translate the depth of something that is so innocent and so pure. When you find someone that can remember without selfishly robbing you out of your moment in time, and they can remember something about you and show themselves authentically that they really care. It don't matter how big the gift is, it's the fact that they gave the gift. You see, in this world, we live in a world where if you don't have the name brand sneakers, or you don't have the expensive car or the expensive jewelry, people look at you downward. But if you could just receive a gift from someone that really authentically cares about you, and the gift was only worth $5, it was the fact that they even thought about you, because we live in a world that people don't even think about you anymore. They're so selfishly entrapped and engulfed in themselves, they don't even think about you anymore. That is the dark side of social media, where we don't even have an understanding that the person that's right next to you sees you and wants to be in you. You can't see them because you're so stuck in somewhere else. We cry about things that we can't control. And we don't know how to be grateful and appreciate the things that are right in front of our face. This is the dark side of social media. And what about our spiritual path? Spirituality offers us a different path. It's a path that values inner peace. You see, when you have inner peace, you have a peace of mind. You don't worry about what other people have to say. You don't worry about what other people are doing in their lives because you're more understanding of where you are in your life. And so when you do things, you do it with a purpose. That's why when people look at you and they see you, they see the glow in you because they understand that there is a God and it lives within you. When you go out your way to think about other people, you find it not robbery to step up and be a part of the number in that fashion. You're not worrying about how many people liked what you did, but because you did it from your heart. These are the type of souls you want to be around because those are the type of souls that will last forever. Those are the type of souls that will lift you up when you need it the most. See, your popularity online, when you're going through and you're in that house alone and you're crying on your edge of the bed and you're looking for somebody to talk to, that all that popularity, there's nobody to talk to. It was funny, I was watching social media last week and I saw Gilly. Shout out to my man Gilly from Philadelphia, $1 million worth of game. He was online and he was talking to his friend. His friend was on the couch and he was sitting there and he was, I won't say stressing, but he was definitely going through a difficult moment because people kept asking him for money. And I can only think of the 1,000 thoughts that was in his head of, where was you at when I didn't have all of this money? Where were you at when I needed help the most? But now that I got it, you have an expectation of me to give you something, when in actuality, you didn't even work for it. That is the dark side of social media and popularity. When you don't have, you can't find a friend. And as soon as you get a little something, everybody come at you with their hands out. Where is the spirituality in that? You can't find peace in that. There is no peace in that. And then for that moment, I could feel his pain, even though that's his personal journey and his personal battle. In that moment, I felt the pain of knowing that when he didn't have all of that, he couldn't find anybody. He couldn't find a true friend. And that's why I say to you today, when you in your journey and you chasing that bag and you doing everything that you're supposed to do, and all of a sudden you get a little come up and you watch how many people calling you. Hey, I seen you such and such. Oh, I like the new car. Can I borrow? Let me hold something. But when you was down, they didn't want to let you hold nothing. You couldn't even hold a conversation with them because you didn't have any value in that moment in time. As the Sufi poet Rumi said, the womb is the place where the light enters you. I need you to know that when you're going through your darkest moments, that's called the womb. That's where you got hurt. But that opening is bringing in light. It's bringing in light because it's going to show you who's your true friend and who's your true foe. They say numbers don't lie, but on social media, numbers do lie. You can have 1.7 million followers, and out of all 1.7 million followers, you could probably count 2 to 3 real good friends. Your popularity means nothing to your spirituality because the spirituality shines through. When somebody can talk to you and touch your soul with truth and authentic life, it makes you move a little different. A lot of people don't like to talk about this type of stuff because it's so deep. It brings so much more value to your life. Right now, we just want to live in a fantasy. It's cool to live the fantasy. It's so cool to live the fantasy. We don't want to get into spirituality, sir. We just want to know where my followers coming from and how many people going to watch what I'm doing. Watch me act a fool today. Oh, that makes me happy. A lot of people believe that living in a fantasy world is the best way to live because they don't want to deal with the reality of what's going on, like the wars in Africa, the wars in Mexico, Latinos being shut out. People don't want to deal with the reality because it's easy to walk away from that because you can say, well, that ain't my problem. There's so many different wars and rumors of wars that's going on in this world. You can't really say that the Bible isn't being true in its authentic self to tell you that this has happened before. But yet, the Sodom and Gomorrah space that we're living in, we tend to want to forget it just to get by. I got to give a shout out to Talib Kweli because that song, Just to Get By, Just to Get By, we tend to just want to do that, just to get by. Where has our leadership gone? Why are we so numb to walk down the street and see a woman being harassed or hurt and keep walking? Why are we so numb to see it on the trains as we ride back and forth to and fro work? Don't you know that could be you at any given time? Don't you know that could be your wife or your sister or your brother at any given time? And if everybody is so perfectly numb to the violence, the popularity of it all, then how do we live? We just become robots ourselves. We're so worried about AI, but a lot of us is living a robot life right now. Embracing our true selves. In many indigenous cultures, there's a concept called Midakai or Oasin, which means we are all related. We're not separated, independent selves. We're interconnected, interdependent beings. Whether you want to know it or not, the words that I'm saying relate to you in so much more power than you can ever know it. You can't really just cut it off. You can, of course, people are dial in and dial out, but words that I say hit them so hard to where even when you cut me off, you'll remember it later on this afternoon. Because something I say will touch your spirit because we interconnected. The things that you think you're trying to run from will always face you in the end. And when the Spirit of God is using you, it is a reason behind everything. Can we learn to see ourselves as part of a larger web of life rather than isolated individuals seeking popularity? Can we learn to see ourselves beyond the social like, the social heart? Ooh. Can we see ourselves beyond that mentally, physically? The courage to be different. First of all, if you see yourself with courage today, I implore you to keep it up. If you see yourself with courage today, I implore you to keep it going. Because there's so many people in this world that don't have courage. They think they have courage, but they don't have it. You remember the Wizard of Oz, the lion was looking for courage. He had a big roar, but he was just so soft on the inside. A lot of people don't have no courage to stand up for what's right. They rather follow the popularity of it all. They're afraid of what people are going to say to them. They're afraid of losing their numbers. And they'd rather keep the nonsense going because it brings more popularity. But on the inside, they're so broken spiritually. And they say, oh, we only live once, so I might as well get all I can get out of this world. But you're only getting 1% of what really this world is all about. Because if you can't be happy seeing other people happy, then how happy are you? You're broken. If you would rather see somebody else tear down someone else, which is giving you a false sense of happiness, then you're broken too. Anytime you indulge in activity that makes other people look bad or feel bad about themselves and don't push them to a limit of positive promotion or push them to a limit of evolving into a better them, you're part of the problem and not part of the solution. You can't justify your behavior no matter how you look at it and how hard you try. You're just a popular person for this moment in time. And when they look back on your legacy, they can say, the one who brought the drama. And that is not a legacy I would want my grandchildren to know about me about. The one who brought the drama. And let me show you how karma truly works. Because a lot of people don't believe it works at all. Because you're in denial of it all. Let me say that the more you spew your negativity, the more you push out energy that is not conducive of growth, the more it bounces back to your world. Because our energy, our words alone bring power. And people may not hear you right now, but just like a tree that falls in the forest, does it make a sound? It does. It makes a loud sound. And just because you don't hear it now, you will eventually hear it. Just like a planet that explodes because its time is over. You don't hear it. But you'll feel it later down the line when we get debris from that planet. Oh, you don't understand how deep this goes. Because we never look at it on a large scale like that. We're so minutely looking at ourselves and how beautiful we look. And how much money we have. But your energy brings about change. Whether good or bad, It brings about change. So the courage to be different is as follows. As the Christian scripture says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. But be transformed by the renewing of your mind. First, you have to analyze, what are we renewing? We're renewing the fact that we're not being our old selves anymore. We're renewing the fact that we're not allowing others to dictate the space that we live in. We're renewing the fact that we're not allowing life to dictate how our lives is going to end up. That is what we're renewing. In our mind, when we begin to say what we want and mean what we want, we begin to speak it with our tongue, and then we begin to act on it in our physicality. Ask, you shall receive. Seek, you shall find. Knock, and the door shall be open. When you speak it and then act on it, it becomes truth. Those who worship God worship him in the spirit and in truth. When you speak it and act on it, it becomes a way of life. See, back in the day, there was no religion. There was a way of life. And people lived upon having a way of life, morals and values. Things haven't been perfect since the beginning of time. And every time we get a glimpse of beautification or a glimpse of prosperity and human prosperity, there comes another energy along to deceitfully remove us from the plan, from the goal. And that's what we have today. We have people who are in charge that are moving the goal posts. And we ourselves are following like sheep. It's hard to be a leader. I know it's hard to be a leader in your community when there's so many negative people. It's hard to be a leader on your block when there's so many young people that don't want to listen to you. It's hard to be a leader in your household when you can't even connect with your children or your spouse. It's hard to be a leader. It's hard to be a leader because you don't want to lead. The day you decide to say, I can't take this anymore, is the day you awaken and renew your mind and bring value to how you think. The day you step up and say, it's my time, then you'll go get that blessing. Why do you think I play Mary in the beginning? I play her in the beginning to play them in the beginning to show you that it's your time. Today is your day to receive your blessing, but you got to stand up and receive it. If you're still living in the shadows of popularity, how can your spirituality rise to the occasion and give you the things that you truly desire? How can your heart be pumped with the things that you truly need when you're still living in the shadows of somebody else and what everybody else is doing and what everybody else is saying? So I say to you, today is your time. In conclusion, the word that often values popularity over spirituality, let's choose to take this path less traveled. Stop worrying about what everybody else is thinking and start understanding what God has for you. Let's choose to cultivate our inner light, to nurture our spirits, and to live a life that's true to who we are. As the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita says, you are what your deep driving desire is. Dream it, believe into it, make it happen, and it shall be the light in you. As your desire is, so is your will. You want to know how you get the will to get up to do everything. I say it to you again. I started back sewing, right? And I remember I was younger and I used to sew, because we learned it in school. They don't even teach that in school anymore, but I learned how to sew in school, and I started back sewing, and I made me a sweatsuit. And I was saying to myself, like, wow, there's a lot of kids today, all they know is the Game Boy, the PS5 and the PlayStations, and that's all they know. The VR games. They don't know how to create with their hands. They know how to create with the the imaginary. And I said, when I saw the sweatsuit, I saw to myself, I said, wow, the God in me is so powerful that whatever I put my mind to, I can achieve. And I say, thank you. And I am grateful for the talent that I had to be able to write books, to be able to put movies out and win awards for. I'm thankful for everything that I have. I'm thankful that my movies and my books may touch people and inspire them in such a way that they move about and change the way of their lives. I'm thankful that I can come on here every Sunday and help somebody along their way. I've learned how not to be selfish in delivering my message and learn to speak with a passion and a desire to see other people awaken into their true self and out of their slumber and sleep. You are what your deep driving desire is. As your desire is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. You have a mission in this life. And the more you keep walking away from it, the rougher your life gets. But until you walk into your purpose, that's when you'll see your evolution. Until then, you'll be seeing the same thing you saw yesterday. As your deed is, so is your destiny. Let's choose a destiny that is guided by our deepest desires, our highest values, and our most profound spiritual aspirations. Let's desire to be the best we could possibly be. Let's open up and be the leaders that we can be. Let us not sit by the wayside and allow life to just entertain us and take us away from our true value. We have that power. We have the power of choice. We have the power of love. We have the power of responsibility. We have to hold ourselves to a certain standard and integrity, and we'll fall for anything. And you got to remember one thing. Everybody's thinking about finances and how to be rich. If you don't know that you're already rich, no amount of numbers that you learn in a computer is going to help you get there. If you don't understand how rich you are already, you can never be rich. If you don't understand how wealthy you are already, you can never be wealthy. You can't place a dollar sign on the spirituality that you have. You can't place a dollar sign on the talent that has been bestowed upon you. It is your time, it is your opportunity to step up and be the best you could possibly be. This is my message for you this week. I pray that it hits your soul. I pray that it takes you to wherever you need to go. I hope that your week is more prosperous than it has ever been. I hope that this message is something that allows you to open up and reconsider what God has for you. And I pray, most of all, for your safety and security in these rough and rugged times that we live in. And I'll leave you with this thought. When I was in the group home, they sent us to a camp. It was called Camp Brisson in New Jersey. And in this camp, I learned archery. I learned how to shoot a rifle as well as a handgun. I became a marksman. But it also taught me how to climb mountains using rope. And I would say that the skill set and the mindset that I had as a child has never left me. So eager to learn, so eager to be the best version of me as possible. And although I went through so much turmoil to be who I am and where I am in today, I'm grateful for every moment of it because I understand that without those moments, I cannot teach or pass along to anyone else. And I need you to know that what you've been through does not dictate who you are. What you have gone through does not mean that that's who you are in the present. But it did lay a foundation for you to learn from, and it gave you a much bigger purpose than you ever imagined once you tap into it. So know your true, authentic self and walk in that light because you are somebody. If anybody told you today or yesterday that you were not worth anything and that you were worth less, I am telling you today that you are fruitful. Your spirit is here for a purpose. There's a divinity inside of you that is waiting and eagerly waiting to jump out and be the best version of you as possible. Whatever has been holding you down from being the best you, the best version of you, I plead for you to awaken. I plead for you to get up and take the stand that you need to be taken. I plead for you to be the best version of you because you owe it to yourself. If you take one step, God will take two. You just have to believe in something that is bigger than you. Allow all those emotions of fear to subside, to walk away, to level down away from you, and allow your true, authentic self to step up and be the best version of you. As the kids would say, it's time to eat. It's time to take your life to the next level. This is your chance and opportunity to do so. And that's my message for you today. May heaven smile upon you. May life continue to be the best for you. And no matter what the numbers say, numbers lie because there's people in the background that's listening, that's watching, and they're saying to themselves, wow, this was very powerful. And they're going to take it and they're going to run with it. And they're going to use it for their life. I'm not here for popularity. I'm here to give a message to those who need it the most. And when you arouse and awaken to those messages, life will treat you much better. May heaven smile upon you. Thank you, beautiful life, for tuning in. I appreciate you. I value you each and every week. Thank you, boss baby, for the gifts. I appreciate you. I value you guys each and every week for tuning in. Thank you to all. Thank you for all my YouTube watchers. I appreciate you. I value you, your messages, your comments, and I hope that your life and your day, your week, until we meet again next Sunday, is prosperous and on a level of consciousness that will keep you evolving in a righteous way. Peace and blessings to you all. I appreciate it. Thank you. I hope that life continues to evolve. I've been sick all week, and I checked myself in the hospital, and they couldn't even find out what the sickness was. They're trying to throw it off as the common cold, but it was a little bit more than that. And I'm much better today than I was last Monday. And I'm thankful and I'm grateful that I'm still alive. And whatever they got in the air that's popping off, I'm not allowing it to attack me. We're going to keep pushing and we're going to keep moving and we're going to be authentic and allow life and God to enter in to do his thing or her thing or its thing. All right. May heaven smile upon you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, barakatuh, and peace and blessings to each and every one of you. All right.